Now, speaking of wasted time or movies that you hate or maybe strongly dislike, we are now talking about a movie called Dear David, which will be available in select theaters on digital and on demand October 13th. Bruce, I refuse to review this movie. I'm going to let you review it and talk about it and do the thing. Or do you want me to do the intro?
No, I mean, no, I can start with this. Directed by John McPhail, which is a great disappointment, I'll say out of the gate, because Anna and the Apocalypse, a few years ago, directed by the same director, is a joyously fun movie, and I feel sad that and actually perplexed that John McPhail made this movie. Dear David is the story is based, I guess, apparently on a Twitter, now known as X thread.
Right.
It's about, oh my God. It's basically like, it's equivalent to a creepypasta. Like some dude from Buzzfeed. This is like a Buzzfeed movie too. And if you don't know it's a Buzzfeed movie, they make sure and have Buzzfeed on the walls of his workplace all over this movie. I mean, the product placement for Buzzfeed in this movie, have I said it enough, is some of the most heinous product placement I have seen in a long time. But the main character, Adam, is this, I guess, artist, and he works for BuzzFeed, and he's just kind of doing his thing. And then one night he wakes up from a, what does he have? Like a night terror?
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah, sleep paralysis / night terror. He looks over at the corner of his room, and the rocking chair is rocking, and he thinks he sees a little kid with a dent in his head. And then he proceeds to start trying to document all of his haunting experiences online in a Twitter feed. That's the basis of the story. Tell us why you hate it so much, Greg.
No, I actually love this movie. I'm kidding. Augustus Prew is the comic artist who plays Adam Ellis. It's a very interesting story because the actual real story, because this whole thing about the haunted, the rocking chair that's sliding back and forth, and he's Adam Ellis, who's the BuzzFeed comic artist. He thinks he's going slowly insane. He's going, right? He needs some help with his mental health because he sees apparently that ghost of the dead kid, and he's wondering about his family, where the origins of the ghost, all of that stuff. It's interesting. I haven't actually read. I'm sure it's available still on X, that actual thread from Adam. I'm sure that story is fine. And the fact that it went viral is interesting. The absolute execution of this movie was uninspired, rote. It went nowhere. I was trying to ascribe something, but got nothing. I went traveling down a nothing boulevard, realizing that there's nothing to be gleaned by even staying there. But I had to endure 94 minutes of this movie, which had it tried to be funny. It wasn't. It tried to be scary. It wasn't. It tried to be visually arresting, static images.
Did you feel this? Let me ask you this. Did you feel this? So one thing that annoyed me the heck out of this movie. So it's supposed to be 2017, right? Is that supposed to take place?
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So a recent movie, right? And it really tries hard to be like, this is like aggressively dated, like to its time period, but also in the sense, you know, you get those movies where it's like, you just get the feeling that it's an old person trying to write a young person's point of view in high school or something. This movie feels such a level of cringe of trying to act like internet culture savvy or something. And it just comes across painfully terrible in the dialogue and in the characters, and not scary in the least, not funny when thinks it needs to be funny. The relationships of all the characters are just
paper thin,
painfully thin. Yeah. This movie is,
the tone.
I felt about this movie, I think, about the way Eric felt about the last movie.
I was going to say, are we reviewing Mr. Oregon again?
Yeah,
the tone terrible. There's lack of a strong point of view or tone in the movie. I just feel that director John McPhail just was lost. I hate to say it, was kind of lost in the weeds, or he was just shooting straight from the script. It really felt like an uninspired outing. I gained nothing from watching this movie. This is how bad it was. Oh, I did gain one thing, the knowledge of that this Dear David exists. So that is actually value added. I'm interested in actually, and I went to read about Adam Ellis's work. I think Adam Ellis as a person is interesting. I just don't think his life story executed via Dear David was very interesting. I will be haunted by this movie because it's so boring. The boringness haunted me. Okay, so that's my rating for Dear David. Again, in theaters, on digital, and on demand. Watch it at your peril. Maybe you might like it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm giving this movie a generous 1 star. Bruce.
Yeah, I'll give it a generous 1 star too. I'm pretty sure this is the worst new horror movie I've seen this year, and it probably in the last couple years. This is a disastrously terrible movie. Terrible.
This is the worst film I've seen of this year.
I wish I'd seen this because the way today is going, I bet I would have given it 4.5.
I bet you would have given it higher than 1. I have a feeling, but it's pretty terrible. I think you would have still hated it.
Yeah.
Wow. It's so bad that I really want to end the show right now because I'm so mad at how bad this movie is. Do you
remember when I suggested it? I said, I don't know if you read what I said exactly. I said, after watching it, I said, I watched Dear David. Someone else has to watch this too, or something like that. I said, someone else needs to have to watch this too, because I didn't want to be alone. I feel like
someone please share in my pain.
This is Cinematics.